Saturday night on Hollywood Boulevard here in Los Angeles, and if you stand here long enough, well, you'll either get arrested, run over, or propositioned, and possibly all three. But you'll also see every size, shape and colour of car ever made. California isn't renowned for building cars, but it is famous as a melting pot of car culture. What they drive today, the world drives, well, maybe not tomorrow, but perhaps in a year or so. But there is one kind of car that will only ever make sense right here in Los Angeles. This is the East LA Car Show, an event with more bump and grind than anything on Sunset Boulevard and more gold plating than a Beverly Hills bathroom. Over half of the population of Greater Los Angeles is of Hispanic descent. These people have their own clothes, their own music, their own language, and they have their own cars. They call them lowriders. Where did this notion of lowering the cars come from? How did that happen?
Oh, this came way back. I would say early 50s to late 50s. What they used to do then was take the springs out of the cars.
And they cut the middle part out of the spring, wouldn't they? Or would they just
No, they just remove the springs.
Just remove them
just
totally?
remove the springs, yeah.
What, and just run low tire pressure and...
No, you get a smaller tire than what the car was equipped with. But they did remove the springs, and, you know, you had a really terrible ride. Yeah. I mean, things have gotten better since then.
So do you just cruise?
Yes, we cruise. We get together, we go to the park, we chauffeur in weddings. A lot of times we chauffeur in weddings. The people in the wedding party dress up the style, zoot suit style in the 40s. The girls dress up in the dresses they had at that style. Sometimes the dances, they use the type of music, I guess you would say jitterbug style. And basically they just try to relive the culture from back in the 30s and the 40s.
Come the 60s, low and slow just wasn't enough. The stakes have been raised, and if you wanted to be the best in the barrio, you better come with great plating, great painting, and wheels like you just wouldn't believe.
What does it mean to be a lowrider? Well, to me it means a lot. You know, I've been lowriding since I was 16. You know, I started off with a bike, and I ended up with, you know, I moved up, graduated, as they say. I graduated, you know, to this kind of car. I always wanted one. This was my dream.
But what really makes a lowrider is what's hidden. A trunk full of batteries and hydraulic rams that enable the cars to jump. When a few lowriders get together, guess what? They love to show off, and then you've really got something worth checking out. Nowadays, lowrider status is measured not in acres of purple metal flake paint, but in good old-fashioned inches. The record for these fabulously daft vehicles is 6 foot.
Chicano people are very proud. We never really fully assimilated into the American mainstream. We are the indigenous people here, and it's really a cultural expression more than anything. And it's our uniqueness, and but like I said, in the last 10 years, it's really crossed over into other communities, be it the mainstream Anglo, Black, here in the United States. And primarily because everybody's finding out how cool lowriding really is.
Most of the clubs out here, they don't pick by what race you are, just pick what your attitude's like and what kind of condition your car's in.
Well, your car's in good condition, but it's fairly standard looking, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's the hydraulics that really make this truck what it is. So are you going to demonstrate those for me?
Yes, I could.
Right, good. Remote control is the latest toy for the lowrider boys. Up and down, back and forth, side to side. What's it for? Who cares? It's like the ultimate in safe sex, isn't it? Wandering around the show, I couldn't help thinking that these rather ordinary lads do spend an extraordinary amount of money on their cars. I suppose they must just stay in all the time and save up. I was going to ask, but, well, you don't like to, do you? Well, whatever you might think of these lowriders, you're unlikely to see one in the car park behind the co-op, now are you? Although I've just been talking to one chap who told me he'd sold a hydraulic kit to a taxi driver from Manchester. Which inevitably leads me to comment that from now on, every time I go shopping, I really will be able to hop in a cab. Sorry, couldn't resist it.